And thank you for staying with us. The Scudder Intervention Services Foundation Incorporated is a not-for-profit organization providing education, awareness, and training to address the needs of individuals suffering from suicidal, mental health, and emotional distress. Here now to talk more about it is founder and president of Scudder Intervention Services Foundation, Brett Scudder, and good to have you, Brett.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here.
Good. Well, glad to have you and talking about some really serious issues. I mean, we talk about Valentine's Day, right? Right around the corner. And a lot of people make jokes, but the reality is Valentine's Day is not so rosy for a lot of people.
Yes. It's a high time for emotions. Even some of the people who are celebrating with a loved one, it's still a heightened time of emotion. So can imagine the ones who are single and seeing all of this going on, who just lost a loved one, who just had a broken heart. Some people are expecting a lot for Valentine's Day and may not get it, may not happen. How do you deal with that emotional pain? How do you deal with the fact that you look forward to something so much and now on the day off, it may never come through? And so when we look at these events, we sometimes never look at the psychological impacts on people. How do people take that? Are they happy? Are they truly happy? Do people really want to celebrate Valentine's Day? Some people just don't want to be involved in all of that because there's so much going on.
And you talk about people suffering in silence, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people do suffer in silence. How do we deal with people who are really suffering in silence?
Well, it's a cultural thing, right? We have to change the narrative. The narrative is if it's weak to cry, it's weak to express emotions, especially for males. And so when you look at suffering in silence, males suffer more because there isn't a society that welcomes an emotional male to talk about that. Females, as soon as they start crying or expressing emotions, they're surrounded by people. So there's a bias when it comes to looking at males versus females and how emotions are addressed. So more males suffer in silence because they don't want to be perceived as weak. They don't want people coming at them saying, man up. And we don't know that pain and suffering that people are feeling, male or female.
Right.
We have 4-year-old children who are suicidal and talking about killing themselves at our centers. 4-year-old children.
4 years old.
4 years old. And we're not talking about that. We're looking at this as an adult or a teenage problem. We got children 4 to 9 years old who are dealing with emotional issues that really are prompting them to feel like they don't want to be here.
Is it the society? Is it the culture? What is it that's prompting people these great thoughts of depression and suicide? Because these numbers are rising, right?
It is a serious issue.
And so, what are we getting to any of the outliers, or what are the causes here?
Social media, technology, the fact that a lot of our children are living in homes that are exposed to things that they should not be exposed to. A lot of parents are struggling, not spending enough time with their children, so their children are spending more time on social media. And, a lot of kids today, you see it, a 1-year-old child today has a mobile phone in their hand, right?
Swiping, right.
Swiping and laughing,
Right.
So the addiction to technology and mobile devices is what's driving a lot of the depression and a lot of the emotional challenges for a lot of people. This heightened idea of needing to fit in because social media requires it, Instagram requires it, we gotta look good, we gotta present this good, this facade like everything is good, while people are hurting behind what they're showing, but they're not expressing that hurt.
Right. You got something up called What's Love Got to Do with It, taking place on February 15th?
Yes, that's an event that I partnered with someone who is a victim of domestic violence, and she wanted to tell her story and do it in a way of doing it as an event. So I helped her to put the event together. There's going to be guest speakers talking about their experiences to break the ice. Valentine's Day is here, and I don't think people really understand the emotional weight that carries. We think people are smiling and people are happy, but it's not. So this event is to highlight domestic and intimate partner violence and how it impacts people with mental and emotional issues.
And some real serious issues that people sometimes just don't talk about. You also got a pop-up shop to talk about, huh?
Yeah, well, listen, there's a lot of events going on that we're focusing on emotional pain. Our organization focuses on emotional wellness. Mental health is stigmatized. You say mental health, people go the other way. Like, oh, I'm not crazy. I don't want anybody to think I'm crazy, so they go the other way. You say emotional wellness, I'm willing to have that conversation.
Right.
So using certain words sometimes pushes people away. If we change the wording, if we change the narrative, we can get more people who are suffering and hurting to come forward. Last year, we had over 400 successful suicide attempts that were prevented here in the Bronx through our organization.
400.
Over 400.
Wow.
Right? Those are people you would have never seen, you've never heard of, you would never think that they were suffering like that. But those are people who just like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'd rather die. There were so many reasons why they wanted to. And so when you look at an organization like us on the ground doing the work, I'm a suicide attempt survivor. I'm very public and open about my pain and my struggles. And that's why I get a lot of people will gravitate towards me, because they're like, look, Brett, if you can talk so openly and candidly about you being a suicide attempt survivor and thinking about death like that, then maybe I can too.
Right.
And that's a break for that.
So what was the difference maker for you? I mean, you know, you had these thoughts, and all of a sudden now you're thinking differently, you're living differently. What was the difference maker?
I don't think it's so much a difference maker as the fact that I'm trying to make a change. I think that when I was going through my challenges and I sought help from people, and so 95% of the people moved away from me when I came out about my suicidality. So you think about that, and today how we have normalized the conversation that people can really say, okay, I'm feeling depressed. I feel like I don't want to be here anymore. Those subliminal messages, and people be like, okay, what's going on? How are you feeling? What happened? So there is that change, and that's where my life is committed to breaking those stigmas and those myths, for people to say, hey, you know, I came to one of your training and listened to how you talk about the experience of what you're going through and how people should engage with someone who is suicidal or depressed or feeling like they don't want to be here anymore.
And you can offer a quick tip for us about dealing with somebody who's suicidal. They have those conversations, you know, they go on the phone, at work, wherever. How should a person very quickly approach someone who's got those suicidal thoughts? What should be our conversation?
Not be judgmental. Don't let the first thing come out of your mouth be, hey, you know, everybody loves you, your family loves you, all those different things. Your first question should be, hey, what happened? What's going on? Why are you feeling this way? In an empathetic way, right? That you really want to know what the person is going through, because we really don't know. Let me tell you, we work on thousands of suicide cases every year, and they're never two the same. Never two the same. So you can't approach this like, because someone is suicidal, then I can approach it like I approach the next person.
Right.
You have to approach it on a personalized level. I want to know how you're feeling. I want to know what happened to you for you to be in that space, and not be judgmental about it.
Talk about personalized level. Let's talk about GoFundMe for Brett's Home to Heal.
Oh, wow. Oh, boy. Wow. I didn't even realize that one. So in the last 6 weeks, I found out that I have some very serious health issues. I've been doing this work in the city for 16 years, over 16 years, helping everybody else. So now I found out that I have kidney failure, renal disease. I have a blood condition that is now compromising the fact that I had a post-traumatic injury that now it's just a lot of things have happened with me personally in the last 6 weeks. And I'm just not able to take care of myself as I would have normally, because it's been about 6 months I've not been at work. I've been doing limited work. So, you know, I started that because a lot of friends were like, look, you need help. You've been helping everybody else and everybody comes to you for help. Now you need to let us help you. And so I started it because, yes, I do need that help. I'm now not asking for everybody else. I'm asking for myself. I don't even know how you got that information.
Don't worry. Listen, you're talking to journalists, man. You know what I'm saying? What do you think? We're not going to know something? But it's good to know. And hopefully people can, you know, go to your GoFundMe for your Home to Heal, because you're healing others, right? And we call that, where I come from, wounded healers.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
you're still in the process of getting healed. And
Yeah.
so a little help along the way doesn't hurt.
And the sad thing is, when I was talking with the doctors, they're like, look, we can't even do your surgery until you have the appropriate home that you can heal in, because they're operating on my foot. And so I'm on my feet 14 to 16 hours a day. Like I'm on the road, I'm in the trenches. So I need my feet for me to be effective in the work that I do. And so I'm pushing through, brother. I'm pushing through.
We're going to push you a little bit further.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Brett, good to have you. We're going to bring you back
Thank you.
too, okay?
Thank you.
Brett
Thank
Scudder
you.
talking about, listen, depression and suicide. Want to let you know the What's Love Got to Do with It domestic violence event taking place on Saturday, February 15th from 4 to 8 p.m. at Christchurch Bone Hall. That's located at 524 Park Avenue on the 3rd floor. Now, also, a conversation about managing pain, anxiety, addiction and depression, and then suicide. That event is taking place on Wednesday, February 19th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Senator Luis Sepulveda's district office located at 900 Rogers Place. Now, if you are suffering from suicidal thoughts, please, you can call the suicide hotline at 1-800-273-8255 for more information. You can also visit their website at sisfi.org. or on social media at SISFI. And don't forget about Brett's GoFundMe. All right, listen, taking a quick break. But when we come up, we're going to learn about some Valentine's Day events that you don't want to miss. We'll be right back in a few.